Knicks, huge win. You can maybe say this is the biggest win of the season. They
It is
defeat
easily.
Yeah,
easily.
for
You gotta
sure.
say it easily. Okay,
Easily.
easily the biggest win of the season. The Knicks defeat the Spurs 124-113 in the NBA Cup final. A fantastic performance. The Knicks trailed in this game multiple times by double digits, 10, 11 points. They trailed going into the fourth quarter by 5, but they outscored the Spurs in the fourth quarter, 35-19. They won this game with defense. And this game, I think, we remembered by a lot of people for what a bunch of players did. And we will go through all that in this, and the players that really stood out. We always like to talk about here in the post game. But I'm going to start off with this. This is a game where OG Anunoby, who I think you can argue I'm not going to say he was the most important player in this game. I agree with what Bryan said earlier, but I think you can say he was the best, most consistent, efficient player in this game.
Yeah.
28 points, 10 of
Especially in the first
17
half.
from the field, 5 of 10 from three-point line, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. He did not get a steal for us, Bryan, at all whatsoever, which was a little disappointing.
Got him out of the 2 bets.
He was a +7. That was a team high, and I believe I also want to make sure I'm correct on this. Sorry, I said team high. That is a game high, 28 points for OG Anunoby in this one. I think this year you can argue when he's been healthy, out of the 9 games that he missed, he's been the Knicks' most consistent player.
Yeah.
And I think he showed that again tonight. And I think wherever this team is going to go, because this guy is so impactful on defense, it's going to start with OG Anunoby. And I think he showed you tonight why we're going to talk about somebody maybe it might have been more valuable, but why he is so valuable to this team. Would you not agree?
Absolutely. I think, again, he had an amazing night tonight, but we've seen it time and time again, especially this season. He's just getting uber efficient. He's just like, punishing teams defensively. He's immensely important two-way player, and I think it can't be understated like what he's doing out there. And again, barring any injury, like I think this could be his best year in a Knicks uniform, could be the best year of his career. Yeah,
he's having career highs and shooting the ball and doing a lot of other things. I mean, Bryan, I'm not surprised by the OG performances. I was talking with somebody yesterday about this. He's one of the guys I think I trust in a big game.
Yeah,
for the Knicks, like I trust him in a big game, but how he's doing it now, it's cutting off the ball. We showed that play in the first half where he had a really dope back cut. It's hitting the corner 3. It's shooting the mid-range efficiently. It's doing what he does in defense, like under control when he handles the ball.
I would say the offensive development is a welcome surprise because now you're trusting him a little bit more off the dribble. Now you're trusting him to take guys off the dribble and maybe not get all the way to the rack, but he could do some of that too. But just pull up from the mid-range area, even like actually add some creation. He's done that more. And just in general, the 3-point shot, you trust it when it leaves his hands, when he's wide open from the corner, wide open from the wing, on the rare occasions it's the top of the key. Like the way he's playing off of guys has been better, of course, this year. And it doesn't feel like he's doing too much even when he is driving offensively. It does feel like generally it's in rhythm. It's what they need on that possession. And I think his finishing has just looked better. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but we've been watching all the games. And he's been consistently their best two-way player. And he is their best two-way player. So to see him play this way, like he can get to fringe all-star consideration considering where the Knicks are in the standings. It's going to be tough because you're probably sending 2 already. But I think he's one that can be in those conversations if he's healthy.
Let's have the conversation now. Why not?
Okay.
If you're sending 2 Knicks to the All-Star game right now, is he an All-Star over Cat?
Over Cat is tough. Over Cat is tough to say.
But he might be having a better season. I think he's having a better season than Cat.
I think name value does factor in.
Yeah, I think it does.
And counting stats.
Yeah, and Cat really is putting up like crazy double-doubles every night. Whether or not the eye test always tells you that he's maybe putting in as high effort on like especially on defense as like a OG, I feel like that does come into effect. But like look, OG's having an amazing year. Honestly, I think Mikal Bridges is having a really underrated breakout year for the Knicks too. Like at least definitely his best year as a Knick. So I think you could make the case even he could squeeze it, squeak in there. But the East, there's definitely got to be a couple of shooting guards or even forwards up there that aren't coming to mind right now. But like, I'd put all 4 of them in there.
If you could, they're gonna have to have a historic record to go there.
Right.
OKC might get 4.
The format is also weird because of the 2 American teams, the 1 international team.
I forgot.
Like, I hate that shit. If I'm being totally honest, I hate it. Just you're overcomplicating it, and also it's robbing the international players, of which Towns and OG can technically qualify depending on how the NBA wants to do it. But it's also that. So we'll see. It's going to be tougher to get in as an international player, even though there are so many international players who deserve it. I think it shortchanges the international players. They want to get a lot of Americans in, which, it's a league that's based in America. It's not surprising. But I do think OG will be in those conversations regardless. Like, the pecking order is probably going to be Brunson, Towns, OG, and then McHale. I don't know if McHale is going to have like the numbers that pop out that get consideration, but he's having a good year too. Yeah. He's been better this season too. We talked about the decision to use a football term, move him from corner to safety, where he's not always at the point of attack. You saw even tonight, like at the point of attack a couple times, it was like, oh, okay, so he's probably better helping off.
Yeah.
But helping off, we've seen him be really effective, not even just this year, but in the Celtics series. Like, that's where you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of what you envision Wingstop to be, and they've been better this year as a tandem, so that's encouraging.
Oh yeah, they've been fantastic as a tandem there. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody rocking. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like this content. New York Post Sports YouTube channel, check us out. We've done some really dope stuff tonight, looking at videos at halftime. We're going to look at some videos here as well too on the post game. We're also going to hear from Mike Brown in the post game presser, so we're going to have all that for you, just giving you more stuff. I know the Knicks fans want to come. Some of you have enjoyed what we've been doing. If you do, please comment, like, share, the whole 9. Dexter Henry, Steve Dilakian, Bryan Fonseca.
And follow us on our own channels too.
Follow us there as well too.
Some of us have our own YouTubes that we're trying to move around with.
So one of the other things, one of the players, I think I'm gonna go this. We gotta talk about the MVP, Jaylen Brunson. Yeah. Now, Jaylen Brunson, not his most efficient night, 11 of 27.
They were on his ass.
Yeah, they were on him.
As predicted, showing blitzes, doubling.
And he was a plus 15.
Full court man-to-man.
I thought what Brunson did a good job, particularly late in the third quarter into the fourth quarter, even though, to take your point, they was on his ass all the time.
Yeah.
Was he did a better job of like finding an open guy when he got blitzed, distributing, doing that. I thought he had 8 points. He did have 4 turnovers and a couple of bad ones, including that one where he got trapped between the sideline and the half court line. But there's a plus 15. He made the winning plays down the stretch. Mm-hmm. There were opportunities where other guys hit big shots down the stretch. We'll get to OG and his big shot. We'll show that in a second. And Tyler Kolek and the whole 9. But Jaylen Brunson is a huge part of why they got to this final.
Of course.
He's a huge part of why they won this final. And, I was talking with George from Into the Knickverse, who was on my show on Sunday, that dropped on Monday. And he said to me, I said, well, who are you predicting? He said, yeah, I'm going with the Knicks. He said, because we have Jaylen Brunson and they don't. And that is a feeling a lot of Knicks fans have, and I understand it.
Right.
I understand why they're confident. You should be confident by what you've seen. We talked to Stephen Bondy before. He's like, yeah, we've seen better performances from Jaylen Brunson in the playoffs than we've seen tonight or Saturday night. This guy has been so good in raising the level of this team. When you watch a performance like what he's done through this NBA Cup, does this make you confident and say he can take us to the championship and win it? Because a lot of people say, oh, too small. Bryan, I know you love to root for the small guys. Too small. I always push back at that. Yes, we haven't seen a true small guard win it since Isaiah Thomas. Maybe Steph Curry, if you want to count him in that. He's a little taller. But Brunson is legitimate. He's listed as 6'2". He's not 6'2". I'm 6'2", and I've stood next to Jaylen Brunson. He's not 6'2".
I mean, they also did a great job of building a team around him. They really made it, this is our guy. They put the right pieces around him where, yes, it could be him beating you, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, there's the other things happening behind the scenes, not even behind the scenes, right in front of your face, Mitch Rob's effort, etc. I think, I'm very confident in Jaylen Brunson. I know I'm like sort of a yes man when it comes to the Knicks sometimes, but I'm very confident that this man is of the ilk of the player that could take us to the promised land and is going to be very instrumental in like the whole process.
I agree. And I want to shout out to everybody in the chat because there's some really good comments. And also some of y'all going a little bit too far, I might say. Erosa
I told you,
61
let them
says,
celebrate.
this team is better than the 94 Knicks.
Oh,
Hey. I understand why
It's
you
been
feel that
said.
way. Brian, are you giving this?
No, but I was just thinking, like, so if they do make the finals, regardless of the result, I do think that will be like an interesting comparison we could look back on. But they have to, I think
I got to do that first.
You got to make it to the finals first.
Yeah.
Which, look, as great as they're playing, not going to be easy.
Is the ceiling probably higher for them, in my opinion, in terms of
I mean,
what
that team
they could
finals game 7. You know what I mean?
I know. They were literally
they were right there.
They were right there. Yes, I know. That's why
it's tough to say.
That's why I'm like, you got,
I think this team is the most talented team in the East. And I think they're one of the best teams in the East. You could argue the best team in the East. And they should be the favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference. When else could you say that about a Knicks team? Like, that's the thing, too. Probably not since 1994, really. Because that 1999 team was not favored.
95, right. I would say you've said it. This is why I've been saying I think it's the most talented Knicks team in 30 years. This was the most anticipated Knicks season in 30 years. 95, and when they lost to 94, people picked them again in 95. No Jordan again to go back to the finals. They came short. Well, somebody actually brought that up to me last night, and you know who you are. That's all I'm saying. This person's probably not watching.
It's a really well-built team. Who, look, we talked about them not having Deuce, not having Shamet in spots where they probably needed these two guys because of how Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell and all these guys were creating their shots from the guard spot specifically. And they did a really good job without Deuce and without Landry Shamet of being able to sustain that. Tyler Kolek, I mean, we've talked about him a lot during the game itself, but he gets a ton of credit, I think, for his performance. This is the best that he's played. It's something to build off of. He also played well last game, as we mentioned, but this is really the one where it's like, oh, okay, if you have a roadmap, or you need a roadmap, rather, for Tyler Kolek to be a consistent playoff performer, like, this is the roadmap. Because the questions that we all have is he going to make enough shots, and is he going to be able to hold up defensively?
He did that today.
Tonight, yes. Yeah. Along with the playmaking, which you're going to get. Like, the baseline is the playmaking. But today, from a defensive standpoint, he competed. It wasn't always the prettiest, but he competed, and he helped you navigate, along with Karl-Anthony Towns' flurry late in the third quarter. They helped navigate when Wemby went on his tear, went on his run before he cooled off in the fourth.
That's a fantastic point. And Kolek, I think it was, can he compete? Can he hold up against? He held up against really fast guards that Bryan highlighted at the top of this broadcast.
Castle, Harper,
oversized too. Some of them,
Fox,
right?
Vassell, those four.
I think if you've been waiting for this Tyler Kolek stuff, I think this is legit reason for you to be. I'm not saying jump out the window and say, hey, he's definitively back at point guard or anything like that. Yeah. But this is the reason where you can be encouraged by this,
right?
And say, okay, and now it's on the young man to build upon this and try to be consistent. Yeah. I want to read a comment here that we got from Greg 5592, said this shows you when you develop your young players and actually allow them to learn in the game early in the season. This is what they could turn out to be. Hashtag Kolek. I think that's a good point by him. I think that's what I didn't get down with everything with the minutes police, right, Steven. But one of the things Bryan knew that I was rocked on, it was high, was like, all right, can you find some burn for Kolek and Dadier and these guys in small minutes? Now, look, for some of this, Kolek had to be forced into this. And sometimes you got to grow up or you don't.
Yeah.
But
because this could have been Malcolm Brogdon time.
Yeah. But you got to give Mike Brown the credit because Mike Brown played him.
Yeah.
In early games this season against Boston, against Cleveland. Then he went away from him. Now he's been bringing him back, a bit out of necessity. But all those minutes matter, and he's been able to learn. And do you guys think? I'm kind of maybe projecting here.
I have a question for you after this.
But yeah,
on that,
do you guys think that the part of what he's learned before it came to the culmination of tonight? Is Greg 5592 right about this? Because I think he's on to something. I think it's a pretty good point that he raises up here, that this is something you didn't get under Tibbs.
Yeah.
And this is something you got now. And part of it is that Kolek's had a bit of a process. Maybe you didn't like how the journey went.
Yeah.
It went around some corners and through some valleys and some other stuff, but he got here on a game that mattered.
Yeah. And there's still time to go, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, again, just being consistent and building off of this. But you have a blueprint. Like, you have something to point to. You have something to point to where it's like, okay, Tyler Kolek was able to do this in this game, and then also in the Orlando Magic game where he was really running that offense when he was out there and also playing off the ball alongside Jordan Clarkson and Jaylen Brunson, where we saw that 3-guard lineup along with the double bigs. We were like, oh, okay, Mike Brown's really just experimenting here. This is different. Now, there's a world where, not to compare the two coaches, but he was forced into this, but I do think Mike Brown gets credit for this because Tom Thibodeau might have just been like, all right, Jordan Clarkson, you're backup point guard now. Like, there's a world where that happens. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Jordan Clarkson was excellent tonight too, which is not something
we'll get to him.
Yeah, which is not something you could always
Your
say.
boy.
Beyond the scoring, like competing for rebounds, defending.
Yep.
Like, he played a really good game. Like, these are the kind of games you're going to point to. So it's good to have this sort of information. This is a good thing about the NBA Cup. It's good to have this information early on in the year so that you can look back at this, how they navigated this sort of tournament, how they navigated it without two of their, very important players off the bench, and how they were able to do this against a team that's really like the Spurs are good. The Spurs are legitimate. They just beat the Thunder.
Really like the Spurs.
You know what I mean? Like,
that team.
They're like a fringe contender. This is the best team the Knicks have played. A team that's healthy for once. Like, we've talked about, no Paolo, no Franz. Like, this was a team that had everybody. Wemby's on a minutes restriction, but they had everybody. Right. And the Knicks were able to beat them.
Look, and we didn't.
And they did it. They did it. The Knicks were down 11 points with 2 minutes and 7 seconds to go in this third quarter. And then they outscored the Spurs 43-21. Everybody will get caught on the 43, but it's the defense. It's the holding them to 21 over the next 14 minutes and 7 seconds. Right. That's really impressive to me. They held them to that. And look, we talked about Tyler Kolek. Guys, can we get the last bucket, what I think was the dagger bucket by OG Anunoby, but Tyler Kolek made the play. You immediately, in watching this game live, commented on that play and what Tyler Kolek did, angling his body to get that pass off. Like, you saw that live because you knew that was such a tough pass, and he was able to get it and do it. And we're going to take a look at it right here because that was really a fantastic pass there by Tyler Kolek. As we see, Kolek comes here, and this is where Kolek, when he gets the ball back, look how decisive he was, right? Attacking the paint. Wemby comes over it,
whip pass.
And the recognition there was just so impressive. Right, just the recognition to get that pass out there was so impressive by him. And like, that was the dagger. That's what put him up 118-110.
Yeah.
And from there, that was all she wrote. But for Tyler Kolek in a big spot, to not be hesitant, to attack and drive was so impressive. And, credit Cat. Cat could have, I remember, Bryan, I actually remember in the moment of watching this, you were like, up, because you thought he was going to try to hit OG Anunoby on the cut, and it was a dangerous pass.
Or swing his elbow or do one of the cat things.
Yeah.
And he was patient.
There was a lot of options there. You're right about that. There was a lot of options there. So that was really tough. And Cat didn't force it there. He reset, and we could continue to play there, and gets the ball back out to Kolek. And look at Kolek. He gives the ball back up, gets it back.
Right here. This is where you start to see he's looking for OG. He's trying to draw two. He doesn't really want to go up with this. This is the right point guard play, by the way. He knows he can draw two, find a corner shooter here, and it's his best look. Because over here, I believe that's Josh Hart. It's a little smaller for us, but don't worry about it. We're getting through it.
Because we don't have it on our main screen.
Yeah. There's a lot of commotion going on at the top of the key. You're not going to force that pass there. That would be a bad pass. It's going to be a turnover going the other way. That's a pick six. And Josh Hart, there's not enough space there. So as he drives in, you guys can play it. He's going to bring in the defender.
All right, we got it here.
And okay, here we go. So it was Josh Hart. All right, so we can let this run, guys. It's also Wemby helping. Another reason why.
The key.
Another reason why you're like, all right, I don't want to take this shot. Wemby overcommits. Like, Wemby actually should have been like, okay, actually Tyler Kolek, who is lefty, by the way, let's have him try to take this layup against Steph Castle here.
Yeah. Or to be credited, because he lefty, he had to make a tough pass mostly with his right hand.
Yeah, Wemby overcommits here, and Kolek just reads this perfectly. Like, Wemby, this is actually a bad, not a bad play for Wemby. I don't want to overstate it, but he overhelped here.
Yeah, he definitely didn't.
Especially when, again, he's 15 feet tall. He could just kind of like starfish his way to a steal if he just pulls up a little bit closer to that hash mark.
Yeah,
you see how fired up he was.
And this was the point you made, but we're going to go to Mike Brown, the podium in a second. But this was the point you made. Look at how he's off balance right here, but his head is up.
Yep.
This is just great on the reverse angle. This is not an easy pass, folks.
Real point guard.
Yeah.
This is not an easy pass at all whatsoever. Look at this. And he's doing it right hand. This is offhand. And Wemby's so deep, right? Wemby is so deep, and it's a wrap for Wemby next. Wemby has no time with his, 12'17" self. He's not going to be able to get back to the corner. I mean, this is an elite level pass. This is elite level passing that you're seeing right here. But for him to make it in a spot with this game, this is, late in the game, and make this pass that was that difficult. You noted, Steve, how off balance he was. I mean, man, that's just a dope pass. Look at Wemby.
And just embracing that he had to go out of bounds there. You know what I mean? Like, it had to be the type of thing where you go around and make that pass.
Yo, man, that's a great play. That's a winning play. Go ahead.
And I don't think that that resembled Jaylen Brunson right there, but the confidence when he started driving, I think that's where watching all the JB tape, you hear a lot that he watches tape, and he's like really studying Jaylen Brunson's game. Like I think you see it in a lot of these moments, and even maybe took a play from his book with the charge that he drew. That was also a big moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I think that he grew up a lot in this game. We will see.
Oh, sorry, they overturned
that. Yeah, they overturned the charge. I was going to let you rock. This is fun. But I think he could have grown up a lot in this game. I just thought that was a huge winning play by him. A huge winning play. And I think if you're part of the Kolek hive, then you have to be, and I know some of y'all out there are, and some of you are gonna say, hey, see, he did this, and this is what I've been talking about. And here's the thing, you didn't know. You hoped that he would grow up at some point. And I'm also still not going to jump out the window. I do think it's a very important step. I do think it means a lot in the fact that he did this when he is in a game with stakes and all of that. I think it matters a ton. He was fantastic. What we're going to do right now, though, is fantastic. We're going to listen to what Mike Brown has to say after this. We know Mike Brown absolutely feels good about this. The Knicks fans are feeling good about it. We're going to hear what Mike Brown had to say. He is at the post-game podium, and we're going to bring him up now so everybody can see. Actually, we're going to have a couple more minutes before we get him ready. As soon as I see that he's ready to go and he is sitting there at the podium, we will have him for you guys. I'm very intrigued to hear what Mike Brown has to say after this game. As somebody who's been talking about the fact that he wanted his players to take this seriously, he encouraged them to take the cup. He said, look, you have a chance to win something, we're going to go for it, which you should. And this is what Bryan was talking about. It's a tournament. Nobody's out here trying to be losers. They're trying to win.
Yeah. We would have never heard the end of it if we lost this game. Like from one person or another,
Bryan was saying
one
that.
Fan base or another, even our own fan base, like.
Yeah. And now some people will they'll have, oh, ha, the Knicks, this is the trophy they win after so long or whatever. So yes, well, you have to sort of not avenge this, but you get what I'm saying. Where you have to validate this quote unquote with the NBA title. I don't think so. I think your
goal still is the same.
You get to the finals, right? Not to say NBA titles off the table.
Right.
You can't beat anyone in the
This
West,
doesn't change what the goal was for the Knicks this season. It's still the same. But we got Mike Brown ready. Let's hear from Mike Brown, head coach of the New York Knicks.
By our guys for a lot of different reasons. One of the things. Excuse me.
Burping on that.
Been there.
He had some champagne.
My throat open, so sorry about that.
Been there.
Excuse me, Mom.
I like apologizing to his mom.
You talk about a team, and that was a team win. Everybody always talks about next man up, and everybody thinks that that's just a BS coach is saying. But there is reasons behind us saying that and doing that. And our group has done a fantastic job of staying ready. My coaches are unbelievable. I got player development coaches from Peter Patton to Jordan Brink to Charles Allen. I got a lot of guys that are behind the scenes that work tirelessly every day of keeping these guys locked in, focused, and ready to go whenever their number's called. And to be able to see Jordan Clarkson go in and contribute the way he did, especially when we're struggling to score. And then defensively coming up with some huge deflections on the defense end of the floor. Mitchell Robinson, he had 10 offensive rebounds. 10 offensive rebounds in 18 minutes. That's unbelievable. We had 23 offensive rebounds for the game. He had 10, OG had 4, Cat had 4. That was probably the biggest difference in the game when you're scoring 32 second chance points. But for him to come off the bench and do that, even Ariel's minute and 52 seconds was huge for us. He got a 50-50 ball. He went vertical at the rim one time. But just as importantly, Tyler Kolek. We were struggling to score. We know that these guys, they're going to collapse their defense when you touch the paint. We told our guys, keep touching the paint and try to spray it. Keep touching the paint and try to spray it. And Tyler came in and he paired with Jalen and just did a heck of a job touching the paint and spraying the basketball for us while hitting some timely threes. And then defensively, he was awesome. We could have gone with a handful of guys for the defensive player of the game. But at the end of the day, De'Aaron Fox, I coached him, and you don't really realize how good he is until you coach against him. And you can feel his speed and his power and all that. And to be able to have a guy like OG go guard him just to try to make it a little tougher, that's a blessing. And OG was our DPOG, or defensive player of the game. Excuse me, that's the beer again. So, excuse me, but to have OG come off the bench, have OG switch on to him and make it a little tougher for him to get great looks, again, it was a blessing. So a great team win. Obviously, the MVP is Jalen, and I hope now on this stage, you guys when you start talking about MVP candidates, his name is one of the first to come out your mouth, because on this stage, to go get it done while winning, is what, in my opinion, an MVP is about. So you guys do your job.
Well,
yes.
First question here on the front right.
Like you mentioned, Tyler, Mitch, and then Clarkson, a key stretch. The fourth quarter, just, what went into the decision to give those guys significant minutes, during that stretch, and just how much did they flip the game on its head when they were in?
And they did a great job turning the game. They brought a level of physicality. we told these guys, San Antonio's a great team. They're well coached, and they do a great job in the pick and roll game. And they know having a guy like Cornette and a guy like Wemby, those guys are huge. And so when they set the screen, they do a fantastic job of getting out and getting to the rim. And we told our guys, hey, look, these guys are getting to the rim quickly. Slide over, take a charge. And Tyler took that hit. Okay, it caused them to use a timeout, and we got a technical from it. So even something small like that, bringing the physicality to the game, putting your body out there and getting ran over, helped change the game. Mitch's ability to challenge Wemby's shots and then put pressure on Wemby and Cornette on the other end of the floor, offensive rebounding. That changed the game. Jordan's ability to knock down timely shots, and then, like I said, the deflections that he got, that changed the game. And we went with Ariel for that minute 52. He was big, giving us a lift. And so all those guys brought something to the table, and it was an easy decision for me going down the stretch that, hey, these are the guys that had given us a lift, and so we're going to stay with them. And that's what it's about. I told our standards are about sacrificing, connectivity, competitive spirit, a belief in the process, and a belief in each other, which is huge. No matter who's out there, belief in each other while holding everybody accountable. And that's what we did throughout the course of this ball game. And that's why those guys were able to finish and play extended minutes.
On your left, Steve. Mike, I know you've talked about that you're learning Jalen.
Yeah.
Not only does he do what he does to win the MVP, but when he gets handed the award, your thoughts just on the first thing he does is mention Mitch, Tyler, OG, all those guys. Basically says they won the game from.
He's an unbelievable competitor, but an unbelievable teammate. And I've been around those guys. You're talking about Tim Duncan. You're talking about Steph Curry. Those guys, Foxy, Bron. Those guys. They'll mention their teammates. Bang, 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 because they know this is a team sport at the end of the day. And that's why he's not just the MVP when it comes to hooping, but he's the MVP in a lot of different ways. And I'm just lucky, fortunate, blessed, however you want to call it, to be able to work with a young man like that. Shout out to his parents for sure, and his sister, and his wife. Mark.
Beer, huh? Okay.
Yeah, no, I am. Well, I had Coors Light back there, so I just grabbed a Coors. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying that, but yeah.
All right. You've obviously been to several finals, but could this be a catalyst? Can this be a confidence booster? Can this be an experience that you think can help this team, this franchise, get to perhaps a place that it hasn't been in a long time?
For sure, Mark. During the course of the year, you try to find situations to put pressure on your group. And we divvy the season up into 5-game segments. And we try to tell our guys, hey, we'd like to go 5-0. 4-1 is pretty good. We'll take 3-2. So I do that again to try to put pressure on them and let them know, okay, where we went during those 5 games. And so to manufacture it during the regular season is tough just because you have so many games. But you got to give Adam a lot of credit in the NBA league office to create an environment like this, because it helps us coaches add pressure to your group early in the season. This is a single elimination tournament when you get to a certain point. So every game counts. There's pressure on every game if you expect to be who you think you are. And so that pressure is manufactured without you as a coach having to try to do it all the time. And when you're able to have success doing it, it breeds confidence in everybody within the organization. And that can propel you come the right time when you're in that environment to be able to handle the pressure because you've already been through it. So there's a lot of positives about it, but the most positive is being able to hang a banner up in MSG, the most iconic arena in the league.
Over here, James.
Mike, you've talked when you first got here about throughout the regular season, you might try different things with the ultimate.
Yo, I love that. I loved everything Mike Brown had.
I knew you would eat that one up.
I liked it. I liked the question that was asked to him there.
Yeah. He had a couple really interesting answers.
It was Mark Spears, I think, who asked him that question. And I thought it was really good about what this meant for him and hearing him say that about the team and how it could push him. And I think that should really make you understand. A coach is saying that. I love that he said it was good for the coaches, not just the players, to learn how to coach in these situations, these single elimination games. Every game means something if you get to the knockout round. That was really dope to him say, yes, they're not handling this like a championship. Mike Brown admitted that he might have had a Coors Light. Mike, you could drink better beer than that.
Right.
But I'm not a big beer drinker.
Had him burping all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Coors Light will do to you. Just saying. They don't sponsor this show, so whatever. Yeah, I think that it was really good to hear him say that as a coach, that this helps everybody on the team. It also speaks to a lot of what you heard of the Knicks looking for in a collaborative process. And when you listen to Mike Brown, and we've been covering him now since the summer, and he talks a lot about that collaboration and the process, and everything is the we and us building and the journey and trying to get there. And this can be part of a journey for a team. This is a good thing. So whether you think this is the real championship, whatever, I mean, a coach is saying that this mattered.
Yeah. I mean, think about why this tournament exists. It exists, well, money, but it also exists. It also exists because of what Mike Brown's talking about in terms of creating those high stress situations early on in the season, because fans have been complaining about the regular season for years now. And the NBA, like, they're trying to drum up interest during football season because a lot of people don't really tune in until Christmas. A lot of people don't really lock in until maybe after that, maybe around the time, the trade deadline comes around in early February. But now you have a situation where right out the gate, a couple weeks into the year, we already know who's in what group. We know who's going to be competing against who. We understand that 8 teams make it to the quarterfinals, 4 go to Vegas, 2 fight for the trophy. and there's one champion. Like, it adds stakes. And this is what Mike Brown's talking about, those high stress situations for players and for coaches and how you're going to navigate this. Like, this is kind of soft launching the playoffs. I think they're still going to tinker with it in terms of, okay, moving it around. Do they want it to maybe end later in the year? There's been some rumors about, hey, should they entertain that opportunity? I don't know if that's going to be the case.
I would love to see group play extended a little bit more and it be a little bit later. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I
I
feel
would
like
love 8 games of group play.
it feels like right now they want to take it up to about Christmas, because once you get to Christmas, you feel like, okay, the torch isn't fully passed from the NFL, but now you get more interest in the NBA than you do early on in the first couple months of the year. So I think while they still work out kinks, this is the best that it's been. And it means so much in terms of just adding stakes to the regular season early on. So yes, it's not everything. You don't want to over-index on one game. I don't all of a sudden think that, Tyler Kolek is going to be like the MVP of the team in the playoffs or anything like that, based off of this performance. But it is encouraging that you see this performance, the performance previously. You don't want to take away too much from it, but you know that it's there.
Right.
You know that it's possible.
Right.
That matters.
Right. All this stuff is possible. And I think this is good to hear from the coach. And we're going to hear from the players in a second. But did you like what Mike Brown had to say here?
Yeah, I mean, I love what he had to say. I mean, I'll also just say that the reason the NBA Cup is getting bigger and better is because the Knicks were in it, The Knicks won it. Come on. Let's be real. But no, I mean, Mike Brown, first of all, I love how detailed oriented he is when he's doing these post-game conferences. He's very he divulges everything he's thinking, everything he's seeing, everything we're seeing, which did not always necessarily feel the case with past coaching staffs, I'll say. It's just great and refreshing to see that he notices all the things that are happening that we are commenting on. So him calling out, Jordan Clarkson, Tyler Kolek's big games, we felt that here. And yeah, it's great to see. It's great to have somebody who's well-spoken leading this team, and also very much a mentor type figure, and someone who is taking this seriously. Someone who's encouraging his coaching staff to do the same. So, kudos to him. I think he even just leveled up in Knicks fans' eyes.
I'd agree.
I don't want to make too big of this, but I do think that this game makes us more comfortable too as a fan base, and helped us open our eyes to certain things that could be, certain tools that could help us down the stretch and everything.
I like that you said that, and we'll get to Karl-Anthony Towns in 1 second. I like that you said that, and it can be a springboard. And I've been watching the fans in the chat, and there's a lot of confidence, and some of y'all have gone too far. I love with the Kolek and all this stuff, and people have gone a little too far. Hey, Greg, I want to address Greg, my guy, Greg 559. He said, I've been talking about Kolek in your show. You were laughing at me. We never laughed at you. Now you two see what I've been seeing in him. We knew there was potential in Tyler Kolek. Bryan and I have been saying this from the time he's
It
drafted.
doesn't mean I wouldn't entertain a Jose Alvarado trade.
Yes.
To be clear.
Right.
Kolek heard that, though. Kolek must have been hearing
earned
the
that.
rumors.
I think he didn't. I think Kolek played like somebody fighting to stay in the league.
He is.
Now we know
Now do it for 6 more weeks.
that's
And
the
then
thing.
do it again in the spring.
That's my thing. It's consistency.
Mhm.
The first step is, can he be consistent to show that he has earned fully the backup point guard role? The next step is then, can you do it in the playoffs?
Yeah.
So the talent was there, Greg. We didn't. If we thought we laughing at you, we weren't laughing at you. We just thought the notion that somebody's like, hey, I know what Tyler Kolek is going to be. I know he's going to be this. You don't know how any player is going to develop. None of us do.
And to be fair, you were also saying that Jaylen Brunson needs to play more like him, and that was kind of like you were calling Jaylen Brunson selfish in the game where he was having
He had 8 assists. He had 8 assists tonight.
There's some context.
We love you, Greg. We love you.
You're our guy.
We love you. We love you, and we appreciate you. And I love the enthusiasm for Tyler Kolek. And I think you should be encouraged by what you're seeing tonight. I want to be very clear. I think you should be encouraged. I also think you still, and I know you know this because you're a smart basketball fan, but I think you got to see more. It doesn't matter who you are in basketball. It's about consistency. The reason we feel the way we do about Jaylen Brunson is because we've seen him do it at a high level so much time.
For years now.
For years.
Yeah.
The reason
He's built up equity.
Yeah, you build up equity. And I'm not saying Tyler Kolek can't get there. I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm not going to be. I would like to see him get there.
By the way, we need to see consistency from Cat. You know what I mean? In high leverage situations.
People have been asking that. And he's a multiple-time All-Star.
Right.
Multiple-time All-NBA
This isn't
guy.
exclusive to Tyler Kolek. This is meant for basically everyone but Brunson, maybe OG to some extent. But like this is what it is. Like Mikal still needs to prove some things,
Right.
based on what we saw in the playoffs last year.
Let me tell you something I like. You know what I like on any team you're covering, you're watching, you're rooting for? Players with something to prove. That's not a bad thing. And expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Tyler Kolek is hungry.
Yeah.
He, like I said, this is not hyperbole. He said this to our Steph and Bondi.
Yeah.
I'm fighting for my career.
Great quote. Self-awareness.
Right. Self-awareness. He understands where he is. He hears the rumors. He hears some of you talk about. Now, everybody might not be like Greg out here, but some people want to cut Kolek off the team. Jose Alvarado rumors, all this other stuff. Yeah. Tyler Kolek is not immune to this. So he's heard this. And credit the young man for stepping up when it counts. Now, let's see him do more. And I'm sure he wants to do more.
By the way, of course, Jordan Clarkson is another one where he's probably heard the noise about him being inconsistent this year. And he also probably wants to prove that he can be a winning player again.
Right.
Because he hasn't been in a winning situation in a while, since early on in his career, because he's been in Utah. And Utah, the last couple of years, they haven't been trying to be competitive like that. You know, he probably wants to prove that he's more than just a bucket. And tonight was one of those instances where he did, like, in terms of best Knick games so far, like, this was one of his best.
I agree.
And I would say this is his best two-way game that he's had so far, because he was competing on defense. He got multiple key rebounds also, was contributing to them getting stops in the fourth quarter. Yeah, like Jordan Clarkson was another guy who was all over the place. And with him, like, you want to see that defense, because the physical attributes are there, the height, the reach, the length, of the quickness to some extent, probably not on guys like De'Aaron Fox necessarily, but you know that it's there, but he's never been regarded for that because he's had to do so much offensively for a bad team. Now you're on a good team, so you could probably tap into more of what you can do other than scoring, because you're not going to have the ball in your hands all the time. So yeah, you're just getting signs from a whole lot of things. And this team is allowing you to believe. This team is allowing you to believe that things are possible, that there's greatness to be had this season if they remain healthy. I think you should be encouraged.
Absolutely.
I don't think you should all of a sudden bet the house that they're going to win the title yet.
Well, East Blue Drew might do that.
But I do think you have to feel encouraged by this. And we'll get more information because we still have to see them play the Pistons.
Right.
We have to see them play against the Sixers coming up soon. They play the Hawks coming up soon. Maybe one's without Trey, one's with Trey. We don't know. Like, there's still a lot left. And trade season is upon us. December 15th pass. Guys are trade eligible. January 15th is the next key date. More guys will be trade eligible.
Yep.
We don't know what's going to happen with a lot of situations around the league. So there's going to be a bunch of changes over the next 6 weeks in the NBA. But you know that the Knicks are at least good enough to compete again this year, which is like, this is the best run that they've had in terms of being competitive in a long time.
Absolutely great. Now, one player we're gonna get to hearing from him at the podium. Karl-Anthony Towns played 30 minutes tonight, 16.6 of 12. He didn't play for a stretch because he had injured his calf, and there was some concern about him playing after halftime. He did also have 11 boards, finished with 3 fouls, a couple of them Karl-Anthony Towns fouls, had 2 steals and an assist. Cat was pretty solid despite some silly fouls, but he's a guy who played really good in the previous game against Orlando and has played well through this cup. We're going to hear from Karl-Anthony Towns now, who's at the podium. Let's hear what Cat had to say following this Knicks win 124-113 over the Spurs.
He looks hyped
I'll
already.
take questions.
Damn, don't it look good when it says
Steve
on a shirt?
in the front row on the left.
Okay, just I guess related things. Just was there something with you physically, and then Mitch coming in for you and what he did?
I only care we won the game. We got the shirt and the hat. That's what I've been striving for all day. That's all that matters.
Just about on Mitch, what you saw him do in that stretch there.
What Mitch does. You know, I got here last year. I knew playing against Mitch how he impacts the game, and to be his teammate now and to see what he, obviously does. I mean, last year he's impacted the game how many times and changed the game. So shout out to Mitch, man. He hell of a day at the office for him.
Over on the left side.
Hi, Kat. Congrats. This win obviously means the title, but you guys are built to win the East. So how important is for you guys to validate that in this stage?
I mean, of course, you win the cup, you feel like you have to validate why we got here and got ourselves in this position and won. I mean, it's all about execution. I talked about it, I think, yesterday, and it was, they obviously is a great team, and we had to execute for 48 minutes. And I mean, Tyler Kolek, Jordan Clarkson, Mitch, just so impactful in our game today. Just the energy they brought, the impact they brought to the game, really, really helped us win this game. And shout out to Ariel too, coming in the game. I know it was minimal minutes, but the impact and energy he brought to the game too showed us what we need to do to impact more as starters.
Again, near the center.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
What's the first thing you plan on buying with that prize money?
Nah, I'm gonna donate it. I got my thing over in DR with Go Sports and Go Ministries, and we're building facilities and educating kids and giving them the resources to chase their dreams. And I'm super excited that with this God-given talent and the work I put in to be successful at my craft, I'm able to help a lot of kids out and families, and give their families a chance to hopefully realize their dreams. And I'm super excited to do that in Tambari and Santiago.
Any other questions? Meeting over here on the right.
Carl, I don't have to tell you about losing, but you won playoff series maybe sometimes unexpectly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what
There was nothing unexpected to me, but
maybe
I got you. Maybe to you, but not to me.
But what's the celebration like and the exuberance? How long does that last, or was this something that you expected
Tonight?
to be? Yeah,
That's it. We got to get back to work tomorrow. We got to get back to work. But tonight, definitely enjoy these moments. You never know when you get another chance to do something like this and be in this environment, and life is very unpredictable. And we all in this room, including myself, don't know what tomorrow has. But I know that today, in the present, the Knicks are the Cup champions. And I got a bunch of amazing brothers in that locker room that made this possible, an amazing coaching staff. And we got to celebrate this because, like I said, we all in this room, everyone watching, myself included, we don't know what tomorrow has, but I can know right now that the present is something to cheer for and something to celebrate. And we'll celebrate tonight. Have a great night as a team, as a family, and tomorrow we'll get ready for the next challenge.
Rachel, last one.
On that note, I guess I can ask you both. Mike Brown on his way out said something about a banner. It's exciting to always raise a banner in MSG. Are you guys interested in a banner for this? Some teams feel different ways about it.
I mean, the cup is special, and I think you saw tonight and here in Vegas, semifinals, finals, it brought out the best of all the teams. And for us to be in a position to say that we won and we're the champions, and to have this dope ass shirt on with the Knicks saying champions is a humbling and an honor. So I'll leave that to them. But I know right now in our careers and in our lives, we're gonna celebrate this one tonight. We're gonna hold this cup championship dear to our heart. And but now it's time to work on the second one.
Thanks, Kat.
Yep.
All right, time for the Knicks to work on that second one. Kat, you could tell very, very proud of this, as he should be. Listen, I think enough times in my years of covering sports, I think sometimes we, as a society, we undervalue this is work for these men. And then women who play professional sports too. This is work.
And
coaches, not just the players. They work hard. And as Bryan said, when you have something to win and you do that, you see the emotion from Kat. Like, he's happy to wear the shirt. It's, he's saying it's a dope ass shirt, right? And he's happy to have the hat and everything.
His teeth
that comes
was showing
with it.
the entire interview.
Oh, the entire time. He was really happy about this, and it meant something for him. And maybe that's probably why he got himself back on the floor despite the injured calf. And I think there should be some credit given to him. Now, we know the emotion from Kat. I'm not surprised that Kat talked about staying in the present. I thought that was really interesting too, right? Staying in the present, enjoying this for one night. We move on to the next. We're going to go to Indiana. You should not play in Indiana. That's a whole other thing. But it's going to be very interesting to the person that we're going to hear now which is Jaylen Brunson, the captain, who can be very stoic in how he is about this, because Jaylen Brunson's going to be all about okay, this is cool, we're on to the next one. I don't know if Jaylen Brunson's going to show as much teeth.
You know,
I'm not sure. What do you think?
I don't think he's going to show as much teeth, but I'm wondering if maybe the league is incentivizing them to kind of like help hype up the. I'm not saying he's not going to be like unauthentic in this interview, but I think he's going to probably have some degree of hype. That's my guess, but like maybe like a little more than we'd expect.
You expect from him. Okay, that's going to be interesting.
Hopefully
I will say
Josh
this.
Hart messes with him.
I think the players in the league generally really like the cup. I don't think they're just towing the company line saying.
Right.
I think they actually really do like the cup. This is just the vibe that I've gotten. And I've talked to other people who've talked to these players about it. I get the vibe. I remember last year talking to some players about it, and they really like this.
Yeah.
I think they like the competition. And you see, because here's the thing. I won't get to this too deep, but we talk about this with the All-Star game, which I think is ridiculous because it's a glorified exhibition game. And people say, oh, it needs to be more competitive. It doesn't. It's an All-Star game. But this right here, you can't fake that.
Right.
What we've seen in the last 4 games, even the quarterfinals, you can't fake that. These are players are really caring about it. And so I'm intrigued to see. Let's hear what Jaylen Brunson has to say, because he's at the podium. Jaylen Brunson, the captain, talking after the Knicks NBA Cup Finals win.
Questions? Go ahead.
Jalen, first question. What was it like for you to see Tyler have this moment on this stage after obviously he's been a guy that you've been really close to?
Yeah, played big time. Very happy for him. Maybe a surprise to a bunch of people, but then you guys see how hard this kid works, and just very happy for him and the way he played tonight. Helped us for sure. So we needed him. Yeah, man. He works so hard. I'm very happy for him, man. This is big time for him.
And the last one for me. I know the cup is new, but I don't know what you thought the feeling. If you envisioned what the feeling would be like winning something like this, did it match that? Did it exceed it? Were the feelings a little bit more there than you thought going into it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. It's a goal of ours that we get to check off, and it's an important stepping stone for us. And we can still learn from this game and get better as well. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity that we presented ourselves, and yeah, through the ups and downs of the game, being down 10, being up 10, and we found a way to win.
Vinny on the right.
Jalen, you've been in a lot of playoff series, and this isn't quite like the playoffs, but I guess it's, the one and done sort of simulates it. Unlikely heroes kind of always step up in those type of stakes and situations. Given what happened tonight, can this be a confidence builder for a guy like Tyler, for Mitch, even though he's played in bigger games, for Jordan, like to have those guys be the catalyst? Can that be something that aids you guys down the line?
Yeah, absolutely. A game like this, an environment like this, you don't really see around the NBA too often. And so we got to take advantage of the experience that we got here. And those guys will. And but I think most importantly from all of us is that the way we stuck together through, like I said, being down 10 in the third, and then them kind of controlling the game throughout the game, and us just finding a way, and now going on that run in the fourth with the help of our bench, and it was big time. And then the way they played, like I said, it was there's a reason I said that first before I said anything else, because without them, we don't win this game.
Right here in the front.
Jalen, I think you said on the court, something like, we're going to find a way to win. Just how much does that represent this team's identity through adversity? It might be different guys on any given night, but you're going to find a way to get the job done.
We're going to find a way. We're going to fight. We're not going to quit. We're going to go out there and do what we got to do. And then when we fail in those moments, we tip our hats. We respect the other team and we move forward. But we're not going to quit. We're not going to lay down. And like I said, we're going to find a way. And the game may be ugly. And how are we going to impact the game? And our bench did that tonight. They impacted the game for us.
On your left.
Jalen, congrats. You won MVP, but on your speech, you praised your teammates. how important is for you to have that type of support as a leader?
Yeah, like I said, without them, I don't hold that trophy. We don't hold the trophy as a team, and we're in the complete other side of this. And so I had to give, I had to give them their props and a shout out. And it's important for me to make sure that the guys who come out and compete and play well and help us win, they're acknowledged too, especially if it's not maybe on the stat sheet. Like I think Tyler had a big play where he got the charge, but they overturned it and then it turned into a blocking foul. But him with that physicality kind of sparked us, and it's just a big time play for him, big time game for him, and it was very important for me to say something.
Over here on the right, James.
Jalen, what does it say to you as a player when in a somewhat big game, your coaches, like you, Jordan, and Kolek haven't played a ton together, especially with Mitch and Cat in that lineup. Ariel's been in and out. The ability and willingness to try stuff, I guess what can that do for a player and what can that do for a team at this stage in the season?
Yeah. One, it shows the confidence and trust Mike has in us to figure it out. And he's not afraid to fail either. And I think having that mindset of not being afraid to fail is good for us because it allows us to continue to fight and allows us to go out there, not worry about the result. And then we may play great defense on the possession. They hit a tough shot, but we may play a great game all game and then lose on the final buzzer. But we're not afraid of failure, and I think it's a big time thing about us. And we got to continue to have that mindset and that thought process in whatever we do, and continue to build off this.
Steve?
Jalen, I know you talked about the confidence for someone like Tyler, but for you guys as a team to be the ones.
All right, so we hear from Jaylen Brunson there, and really interesting comments. And we thought Jaylen Brunson would be stoic, and I think we still forget he's still under the weather. He's played these last couple games under the weather since getting to Vegas. But I think one of the standouts for me was Vinny Goodwill of ESPN asked a really good question. I thought about what this game and the performances by guys off the bench did for this team. You heard Jaylen Brunson wax poetic about his teammates and talk so highly of them, and give those flowers that I think we thought we'd expect from him. But he thinks that this can do wonders for this team going forward. He said this experience is valuable for guys like Tyler Kolek, for guys like Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson's a guy I think we have to talk about before we close here tonight.
Yeah.
Because he changed the game.
Good Lord.
Like, I mean, we can give credit to the whole bench. We got to talk about Jordan Clarkson too. I'm going to lump these guys together. But let's start with Mitchell Robinson first, because +9, you heard Mike Brown talk about it, 10 offensive rebound guys, 10 of his 15 rebounds on the offensive end. I mean, this is how he looked. Mitch has not been great for the last 2.5 weeks, but this is how he looked about a month ago, where his offensive rebounding rate was like 31%, which was stupid, just absolutely ridiculous. And if he's playing like that, I also want to know 15 rebounds, 18 minutes. 18 minutes.
He made those minutes count, that's for sure.
Hey, man, that's what it's about, making those minutes count. And he did that. The thing about Mitch and mentioning him in this group, and to go what Jaylen Brunson said, we've seen Mitch do this in big playoffs games. We saw him do this to the Celtics. But he's also hungry. He's playing for a contract. He's, some people, I saw somebody in the chat say Knicks should extend him right now. I wait on that. But this is the kind of thing, if he knows what he can do in short minutes, I would also like to know against a Luke Cornett and Victor Wembanyama team. Right. I think those kind of thing matters. He didn't play. He played good against the bench as well too.
Yeah.
Playing as these teams have length, it matters for Mitch. How impressed were you by what you saw from Mitch tonight? Because I was very impressed by what I saw from him.
Very impressed. And he doesn't need to be putting the ball in the basket to be making like a humongous impact on the team and winning. And yeah, I think like you were saying, Victor Wembanyama is like 9'45" or whatever,
17'13",
and like honestly, like he did not look overmatched in any regard with him, and I do think that's where him being a bulkier guy at this point in his career, Mitch, like does help him, because the height was not an obstacle for him to come in and do his job to perfection, really. So yeah, I mean, kudos to Mitch. You can't say enough about how great he was, how impactful he is, how important he is to the team.
Yep.
Again, not to say, we can talk about contract stuff down the line, the future of him on the Knicks, but like there's a very short list of people, and maybe even nobody, who could do specifically what he does out there. Like,
this is why he's so important, because he can get 60 offensive rebounds in a game. It's ridiculous. I mean, they won that game because he kept getting those offensive rebounds. We looked in the fourth quarter numbers where the Spurs were shooting 25% at one point, and the Knicks were out rebounding them on offense 11-2.
Yeah.
The second chance opportunities that he generates. By the way, the team had 23 offensive rebounds. He had 10 of them.
It's crazy.
This is why it's important for him to make free throws so that he can stay out on the floor.
Honestly.
But this is why those bursts of energy that he can give you, like the way a shooter can go off just making threes and you feel it, they get hot. Like Wemby actually did this late in the third quarter. Like Mitch can get hot getting offensive rebounds and giving your team those extra offensive possessions. And that's why y'all fell in love with this Knicks team 2 years ago, because they were doing that.
Right.
And Mitch was a part of that. And if they had that element, because they didn't have that as much last year, I felt like they did channel it in the Celtics series, which is why they ended up winning that series, or one of the reasons why they ended up winning that series, among other reasons.
For sure.
But Mitch is a swing piece. He's like the ultimate X factor on this team, because he's either going to win you a game and potentially even a series, as he's done multiple times, with his offensive rebounding and generating those opportunities, or you just can't play him sometimes because of the free throws and because defending in space has been a little challenging this year. But this is the Mitchell Robinson you wanted to see against a Luke Cornett. You said it, Dex. A Luke Cornett, Victor Wembanyama front court against the best team that they've played, against a completely healthy team. I know Wemby's on a minutes restriction, but injury report basically clean. And you don't get that in the NBA often. And also, like Jaylen Brunson made some other interesting comments that we can get to, but I felt like highlighting those three in particular, because you need role players to win titles.
Facts.
You need role players to win playoff series. And for the Knicks, they're going to need those three guys in all likelihood.
Yeah.
At the very least, two of them. Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson, Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. I don't think Jaylen Brunson highlighted those guys by accident. I want to talk about your boy Jordan Clarkson. You love the Jordan Clarkson experience. And man, I mean, there were some shots where you were like, no, but Jordan Clarkson, it's funny, after that one stretch where he took that three where I didn't like, he really was steadier. He passed up some threes, dribbled inside, was using the floater. This was a guy today that was in the plus for this team, plus 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a game they won by 11?
In a game they won by 11,
Yeah.
15 points, 6 of 15, 3 of 7 from downtown, 2 big rebounds that should not be noted. A steal and a block for Jordan Clarkson.
Right.
The block was big.
How big was your boy? Your boy came up huge tonight.
I mean, he was great. Like we all said before, like the defensively, I think he showed us that he is bringing more to the table than just like being a bucket, And to your point, like I think he kind of caught himself like doing like a heat check or two kind of play, like something that was kind of a head scratcher. And he really like settled down and he really showed like great composure down the stretch, very decisive, very impactful plays. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, I agree with you. The Jordan Clarkson experience is a roller coaster. It has its ups and downs, but when he's locked in like this and when he's able to step up and in spite of other guys being injured and things like that, I think, he showed you that, look, I'm a legitimate piece on this team and I'm not over the hill. I'm not washed. I'm still one of the more prolific like bench scorers of all time.
Yeah, listen, Bryan, do you think Jordan Clarkson, we saw campaign win a Knicks game. A game for the Knicks last year. Game one against the Pistons.
The very first game,
of the playoffs.
Kind of a good
that they did not play
here,
well in, and campaign came to the rescue.
And I think Jordan Clarkson's more talented than campaign.
Right.
I'm making a comparison because they sort of are in similar-ish roles this year. But Jordan Clarkson, I think what impressed me is like, and the clips are there, and I got pumped on a couple of his threes, but he got pumped sometimes on defense.
Yes.
And that's what I saw where I was like, okay, he's buying in because he really wanted this cup. And I think it's key here, like we talked about Kolek, he's hearing the stuff too.
Yeah.
Right.
and he is playing. And look,
You're gonna hear
of
it
the
in New
two
York.
signings, he played today and played a huge role. Yabusele did not. Yabusele did not play at all today. Not 1 minute. Recorded. Ari Hawkport played minutes, and Gershon Yabusele did not. That's not a good sign for Gershon Yabusele.
They needed the size for the front court.
Granted,
but also,
we'll get to that another day.
Yabusele,
But
yeah.
do you think Jordan Clarkson is the kind of guy we look as like, hey, he can really be part of this rotation now? This can boost his confidence going forward, and he can help this team. Yeah, is he the kind of guy that can win you a playoff game? That kind of role player?
Yes. The short answer is yes. The longer answer is he earned 27 minutes. Okay, that would. I don't know. Has he played 27 minutes in many other games this season?
Maybe one other game this year. Maybe the blowout against Utah.
We've seen a lot of games where, it's 13, it's 15. He kind of doesn't have it. He might have it for a stretch, whatever. And I don't want to say this is what I envisioned when I was advocating for the Knicks to sign him during the offseason. But offensively it is. But defensively and the rebounding and just the overall competitiveness, you made an excellent point, Dex. He got hyped off of the defense.
Yeah, it was noticeable to me.
It's like when Lethal Shooter says, "I understand it now." It's like it clicked. Not that he doesn't get this, but it clicked because this is how I need to play in order for us to win. It's not just the creativity on the ball and even playing off the ball now. And the fact that you can run out, Mike Brown, hats off for the balls to do this. The Jaylen Brunson, Tyler Kolek, Jordan Clarkson minutes.
Crazy work.
I can't wait to look at the lineup data after tonight and see where, the NBA Cup technically doesn't count the final, but you could piece together the NBA Cup data and then the regular season data and see. But that three-man combination has yielded some interesting positive results against pretty good competition lately, these last two games.
It scared me, but we've seen it against Orlando. We saw it today. And, fans in the comments were talking about, well, this is the value of having a second ball handler. And I do think there's something to that.
Yes.
In that on the floor, especially in games where you don't have Deuce. Deuce is not the best ball handler, but because he's so good at helping with spacing and stuff, when you don't have that, this is where Tyler Kolek can become valuable. But here's what matters. Those guys have to execute. And they did today. And that's the thing that everybody, I think, should be happy about. The bench, as Jaylen Brunson said, they do not win without this bench. Okay, there is
100%.
33 points off the bench. Now, I also want to put that into perspective and say, last year, if you got 33 points off the bench, all of y'all out there would have been jumping for joy and dancing and happy because you had 33 points off the bench.
Yeah.
Okay? This is what you envision a little bit when you had Jordan Clarkson. We'll see how much better it gets when Deuce comes back. And we'll see the health of other guys. But, man, it was just a good team. Get 33 points. We're talking about 22 rebounds off the bench, 7 assists, 4 blocks, and 3 steals off the bench.
How many turnovers? Probably not many.
2 turnovers off the bench.
Wow. Yeah.
1 from Mitch, 1 from Tyler Kolek.
Yeah.
Plus 14 for Tyler Kolek, plus 15 for Jordan Clarkson, plus 4 for Ari Hawkport, even in his 2 minutes, and plus 9 for Mitchell Robinson.
It's almost like that moment they showed the graphic of the bench points. The Knicks just turned it on, and started, and we're like, nah, we're gonna win.
Like
this
they
category.
saw the graphic.
Literally, it was like a big discrepancy.
Yeah.
And by the end, can you see what the Spurs bench?
Well, I'll tell you
points
this.
were?
Well, Wemby came off the bench.
Oh yeah,
Wemby is a team low minus 18.
Wow.
And he was off the bench. Team low minus 18.
And they were good in his first half minutes. So that tells you a lot of that is the fourth quarter.
And he had 18 points, 7 of 17. He had a really good stretch. He had 12 of his 14, I think, of his 18 in the third quarter, 6 boards, an assist, 2 blocks. I didn't think Wemby played amazing. I didn't think he played
25
great.
minutes.
He
also
faded down, he got worse as the game went on.
Well,
It
it's
could be the
conditioning.
conditioning.
Trying to get back.
After that flurry, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty much
But
it.
it could have
The fourth
also
quarter,
been
he didn't do
Mitch.
much. Yeah, well,
a little bit, just kind of disrupting
And having to deal with him.
Yeah.
He had to deal with him on the Knicks. Listen,
I think Mitch defended him pretty well.
no matter what, we can talk about Kolek, we can talk about Clarkson, we can talk about Mitch. At the end of the day, the Knicks won this game on defense. They turned up the defense.
which
And
they needed to.
I think the biggest lesson you could take away from this, from fans, from the team, if the Knicks can defend the way they did tonight, with the way we know their offense is, and they got it done in games that counted, they can win. Now, I can't wait to see what they do against better defense, even good defensive teams with good offense, like the Rockets, like the Thunder, like the Nuggets. Those are the games we're really circling, waiting for.
Spurs also again.
Spurs again.
You know?
The Knicks will see.
Yeah,
Knicks will see the Spurs on the 30. On New
Detroit
Year's Eve.
also. We got to mention Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit's been tearing shit up this year.
Right. So we will see what those guys can do.
Yeah. I think it's just exciting. You know what I mean? Like now it's like, all right, like we want to see all these matchups. We have a bunch of games circled. There's games that we're going to go to. There's other games we're going to have watch-alongs for. It's going to be really exciting to watch. And we're expecting to see this team like well into the spring. We're expecting to see them at least deep into May, and many of you expect to see them in June. We would like that to be the case because then we get to do more watch-alongs and talk to the people and have more guests and do this for a long, long time. So we have a while to go. And I think tonight, though, was definitely, I mean, again, I think you guys should be encouraged. If you root for this team, if you watch this because you root for this team, I think you should be encouraged. Don't go too crazy, but definitely celebrate the victory. I mean,
celebrate appropriately.
Celebrate that you beat a good rising team who is annoying, who has pests on defense, who can create on offense. The best team that you've seen all year, and factoring in that they were healthy as well.
And you were home, neutral court.
You know, it's 25 minutes of Wemby off the bench. I know that's probably not going to be a mainstay type of thing. But
it's a good team,
but it's still it's a damn good team.
And with stakes.
Yes, one of the stakes. You won a game with stakes.
Right.
One of the best guard rotations in the NBA. And one of the 5 best players, 6 best players in the league who we all think could be an MVP someday if he's healthy. And Jaylen Brunson gets yet another accolade. And the Knicks have an accomplishment that means something to these guys. Like Mike Brown talked about it. Jaylen Brown talked about it. Like having that, like Mike Brown, having this tournament early on in the year and what it could catapult you, for. Now, the other 2 teams who won this tournament didn't take advantage. I will say, though, I do think the Knicks are better than the Bucks from last year and the Lakers from the year before.
I agree. And they're in a better position to actually compete.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, like we weren't talking about the Lakers being potentially winners of the West or the Bucks being winners of the East. And when they beat OKC, it wasn't as big of a deal because OKC just looked young and missed a bunch of threes. This was different. So we'll see if the Knicks can turn this into something. No team who's won the NBA Cup has won a playoff series yet, I don't think. So I think they'll be the first.
All 4 teams and like all of the last 4 teams standing are pretty serious teams this year. You know,
yeah,
like,
you can argue they're
Orlando.
either 4 of the 6 or 8 best teams in the league. You can argue that.
Yeah. I would say they're all teams that I expect to go to at least the semifinals, and I would say in the case of the Knicks and the Thunder especially, I expect much more than that.
Right.
So,
yeah, and listen, again, we'll wrap here, and I just got some news that Wemby revealed post game that. Somebody close to him, I don't know if it's a family member, somebody had died today, so I don't know if that impacted his game at all whatsoever. So kudos to him for, first of all, condolences to him, but kudos to him for toughing it out and playing through that. But because it's never easy to go back to work after you lose somebody close to you. But
yeah,
the Knicks, we'll put a bow on this. Fantastic win,
best win of the season.
Hey. You've sat in this chair in a way nobody else has sat in this chair. Right? Because people have sat here for playoff games. They've sat here for regular season victories. Not everybody sits here is 1-0. You're one of people's 1-0, but you're 1-0 with a trophy.
Yeah.
Nobody else can say
Let's
that
do it, man.
except for you.
It was only right, man. It was just a matter of time. But, that's why we held out. That's why I'm here for this one.
This is why you're here for this one. We definitely got to have you back, man.
Of course, man. Of course. Last thing I just want to say,
please.
Well, first of all, I will shout out anyone living in the New York area on December 21st, Sunday, December 21st. We're going to be throwing a pop-up in the Lower East Side at Nowadays Creative Lab. That's 147 Orchard Street. And I just wanted to shout it out because we're going to be printing merch on site. We'll have like DTG machines. People can come by. Any design you request, last-minute gifting opportunity. So definitely be sure to pop up to the pop-up if you can make it.
Dope.
And my fault, I had to do the plug.
No, of course you had to do the plug. You actually told me about that before, and I was like, yo, that's dope. You got to do it. And folks, if you're wondering about the gear, we'll show it to you right here. The gear is so dope that this guy makes. It's amazing. You can see the shirts right here on the table. All great designs. Knicks inspired, hip hop inspired combinations with the Knicks. Love what Steve does. This is why I had to have him here. I'm a huge fan of his stuff. I've been for a couple of years.
Same, man.
Second time you've been on with me, and the first time you got to kick it with me and Bryan, and we thought you'd be such a good guest. So we definitely have to have you back. In fact, I'm sure there's people going to be like, Steve's got to come back during a playoff game because they're going to want your winning vibes. You know what I'm saying? They're going to want the winning vibes of you.
Let's do it, man.
You're doing it. So it's good. But listen, tonight I think is a good night for New York. It's a good night for the Knicks. If you're a fan, you should be excited. If you're out partying at 8th and 33rd or whatever, be safe.
Hit us up.
Be safe. Let us know, but be safe. I don't think anybody's going to be doing too much, but you should be happy. This could be a springboard for this team. And I already felt good about how they were, trending. They've won, if you count this game, if I'm counting it into games played, they've won 10 out of the last 11 NBA games they've played.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, they've won six in a row, 7 in a row.
6 or 7. And now we get to see them play more road games coming up. And the one thing they haven't
Which
done
I'm
yet,
happy to see.
they have to beat a good team on the road. They still have to do it. They've done it in neutral court now twice. They have to beat a good team on the road.
6 in a row.
They're going to have more opportunities coming up. So that's exciting too. Just to see like where this team is and how far they can sort of push this.
Yeah, this game won't count, but this would be their 6th win that they've won in a row. They'll try to keep the streak to 6 on Thursday when they play the Pacers, and then Friday they'll be at the Garden
They should
against the
sit
Sixers.
people against the Pacers.
I think so too. They'll be at the Garden there. We'll have a lot more in the coming days. We'll have a film breakdown on what the Knicks have been doing good during this run. Myself and Bryan, please check out all the articles. Stephen Bondi is out there. Jared Schwartz also out there in Vegas. They'll have a lot of good articles, I'm sure, coming out over the next couple of days. It'll be good. You're gonna have a lot of new merch coming out for people to see around the holidays. So once again, if you want to get some merch, check out BockerBackpages.com.
Might have to update the Wingstop design with Jordan Clarkson in it. You know,
you might need to make a Jordan Clarkson
now.
experience shirt. You might need to make
Jimi
that
Hendrix
one.
Experience.
Yeah. Played it off of Jordan Clarkson. There you go. That's a great album.
I'll tag you. I'll shout you out.
Shout me out for
Send
that.
you it.
I said that'll be a good one. Jordan Clark's Experience with the Jimi Hendrix Experience album. You can't beat that. Bro, appreciate you, man, so much for coming through. This was fun. We had a long night, but I think this was one of my more fun ones we did, just because it was the NBA Cup, because some of the things we incorporated production-wise. This is one of my most fun ones that we did. I think I'd agree.
I want the file, guys. I know it's going to be like a million terabytes.
This was fun. I appreciate you rocking with us through the breakdowns and the film, and that's something new we did today, but I think it was really fun. And shout out to everybody in the chat, all the Knicks fans out there. Respect to you guys rocking with us, hitting that like button, that subscribe button. Please go follow Steve Dilakian at Bocker Backpages. Check him out there, all his great work. Follow myself and Bryan Fonseca. We're going to sign off now. The Knicks won the NBA Cup 124-113 victory over the Spurs in Vegas. The Knicks are your 2025 NBA Cup champions. Nobody can take that away. Put the damn banner up in Madison Square Garden. You heard Stephen Bondi. They got a Harry Styles banner up there. I don't know why.
They got Billy Joel too. Right?
Billy Joel's had a lot of concerts up there.
Yeah.
Respect to Billy Joel. We put up there. Harry Styles, whatever. If you're a Harry Styles fan, sorry. But sorry. There's other people that can be putting up there in the banner. The Knicks banner should go up there. Should it be as large as the championship banner? No.
Nah.
But it should be up there.
It should be up there.
And you know what? When it goes up there, maybe they put it up Friday. I'm hoping.
I was thinking they
raise it.
Raise it.
Yeah, the ceremony.
I will likely be in the
You
building.
could do
for
a little.
that.
Do they get rings? I don't think they get. They
No,
don't
they
get
don't
rings.
get rings. You get the medals and that's it.
Yeah, just do the medals look nice.
The medals
Actually.
and
The
the
medals
jerseys.
look real nice.
Yeah.
As somebody with a bunch of medals, I prefer medals anyway. I think they should definitely raise a banner for sure.
Hopefully they raise it Friday night.
Yeah, do a little thing before the game, and then Jaylen Brunson will just be straight faced the entire time. He'll be like, I just want to whoop some ass right now. Whatever. Who they play? They play
Philly.
Philly, right?
The fans will get a lot.
Hopefully Maxi's back.
Yeah,
He's
might as well
missed a
do it
couple
in front of
games.
them.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, do it in front of fans. They got 2 games this weekend to do it in front of fans before they go back on the road. Well, no, 3 games if they're at home, and then they have the Christmas Day game.
Yeah, Philly's
So,
going to be interesting. I wonder who plays for that game because their injury report on a game-to-game basis. For
Always crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
reasons.
So we've got some more stuff coming this week. Again, check out my guy. Thank you, my guy, Steve Dilakian. We appreciate you
Yes, sir.
at all. Greg, you said Dexter put some respect on the youth. # Kolek. I respect the youth, man. I respect the use. You got me saying I'm rooting for Tyler Kolek. I hope Tyler Kolek plays like this again. I'm out here calling Tyler the creator.
You know what? I think, Greg, he should start against Indy on Thursday because I don't think Brunson or Towns should play.
Yeah,
I agree.
Literally.
I agree.
It's the front end of a back-to-back. You're going to have, like, not a literal hangover, although maybe that too. They're going to have a hangover from this into Thursday. Like, come on, man. I would start Tyler Kolek in that game. I'm not even joking. I would start Tyler Kolek against the Pacers.
I think it'd be great for Tyler.
Run
Kolek.
a million pick and rolls if you want. Have him shoot all the threes. See if he can get 15 and 7 and 1 turnover.
Why not? There you go, Greg. I gave you some respect. Greg, we appreciate you. Everybody else, we appreciate you for rocking it. Shout out to East Blue Drew, who made back his money, hopefully at least doubled it on his last paycheck. So shout out to him. Shout out to everybody else. Shout out to the production crew, our producers, Tommy Hogan, Tommy Cohen, editor Wesley Splain, direct technical director Nikolai Jackson, who is a Spurs fan. That's all we will say. I'm Dexter Henry. That's Bryan Fonseca. Our guy, Steve Dilakian. We'll catch you next time. Another live edition of New York Got Game. Happy holidays, people.
Peace.
And thanks for watching New York Got Game. Boom shakalaka.